You have found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, me and Pat are going to start our season grades for players, starting off with Jevone Carter and Torey Craig, as well as Coby White. And then we're going to talk about, are we more excited about the Chicago Sky or the Chicago Bulls, and who has the brighter future? All that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. Had to clarify, somebody sent a message and was like, I've been looking for Chicago Bulls and Bears Central. I can't find it. Like, you can't tell that I meant it as two different channels. I say channels at the end of it. So there you go. Today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I admit it. I have a competitive side, and it is a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on the classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go now, free on the App Store and Google Play. I've actually been playing Monopoly Go. Pat, I got to send you a request on there. It's actually pretty fun. I've been playing it for about the last 4 days.
I'm a big Monopoly guy, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I'm a big Monopoly.
We know.
Oh yeah.
It's even more competitive because you get to rob people, and it makes it adds a little bit of a different wrinkle to it. You are from Chicago, so I mean, I'm sure that
you. What was that? Oh, the stereotype.
Hey, you know what? I really hate when people do try to stereotype the city of Chicago. Y'all stop doing it. I can do it because we're having fun on the show. Y'all be doing it for real. With that said,
Monopoly Go, brother.
Talk about stealing. Somebody from Chicago who stole a lot of money from the Chicago Bulls today. That's this season. That's Jevone Carter. We're going to start off our season grades with Jevone Carter, mainly because me and Pat, we've already admitted it several times. We were very, very wrong on how we viewed Jevone Carter signing. Gotta admit it, man. Jevone Carter was a net zero for the Chicago Bulls. And I know people have said, some people try to make excuses like, oh, well, his role was inconsistent. His minutes were inconsistent because he sucked. It wasn't because they just came in and was like, oh, we really don't have a spot for you. You know, best believe when they signed Jevone Carter, they wanted him to play a lot of minutes for them and shoot a lot of three-pointers for them. They must have realized very early in training camp that we got bamboozled because Jevone Carter stunk this season, bro. How do you feel about Jevone Carter?
Well, listen, y'all know I'm not a big Leroy fan. Over the last 10 games, he scored a total of 32 points. 20 of those came in the one game against the Wizards where they just let him play 37 minutes and were like, we're not putting anybody out there. Jevone Carter's not good, guys. Like it's and I don't think anybody's arguing that. I don't think that anybody's debating the role. My grade for Jevone Carter is a absolute F. I'm not even giving you any room to get any worse. I think this is the worst season that he could have possibly had. This looked like a G League season basically for him, of him trying to figure it out. And he's been somebody who's been in the league for a little while. And not to say that I expected a massive point total, but I did expect some 3-point shooting, and especially with an expanded opportunity. He got more of an expanded opportunity last season with the Milwaukee Bucks, last couple of seasons with the Bucks, and he was able to improve his point totals. Realistically speaking, 2 for 3 from 3 a night. Go 2 for 3 from 3 a night, have a couple of pop-off games, have a couple of bad games, and it averages out to you taking, you take about 3.5 3-pointers a game, and you're knocking them down at a 38 to 40% clip. That's all I was looking for Jevone Carter to do. And then a little bit of facilitate, a little bit of point guard play, and being the bulldog that he was on defense. So do everything that you did naturally and just shoot more threes than you did in Milwaukee.
Thing. We didn't even need him. We came into the saying, just shoot your career average. Just shoot your career average. That was the lowest bar that we can give him. And the problem with Jevone Carter, again, and shout out to Koo, I'm going to go back to my Koo rant, is simply put, he's a point guard, a 3-and-D point guard that didn't play good defense, didn't shoot the three ball well, and couldn't pass to save his life. Some of the more uglier half-court turnovers in this season came from Jevone Carter trying to just do it wasn't even a complex pass. It wasn't even an entry pass. He couldn't pass from left to right.
Yeah, he was he was woefully bad this year. I think at the same time too, when you're bargain bin shopping for your leaders on your team, which I think that many Bulls fans expected him to come in and at least have a voice. Hey, listen, you've been a part of some championship organizations. He's on, if I'm not mistaken, he won a ring, right? Was he on the championship Bucks?
No, I think he came year after they won the title.
Year after they won the title.
Maybe. I'll do some research on that to make sure.
I don't know if he gets a so he played for the Bucks 2021, 2022. That is their championship year, and he finished the season with them.
So he got a ring.
I don't know if he was on the playoff roster or if he was on the or if he played enough games to qualify for a ring, even though he wasn't on the playoff roster. So I don't know if he got a ring, but you expected with the impact that he had that following season, him to have a little bit more of a voice, and he just didn't. And listen, maybe that's on Bulls fans. Maybe that's on us as hosts of this podcast. Maybe that's on AK, who runs the Chicago Bulls, for expecting too much from a end of the bench guy. We literally were like, just be Pat Bev, but like you can shoot.
I really wish we would have just re-signed Pat Bev now.
Oh, I said that. Like I love Pat Bev being on the Bulls because it was like they had a voice.
Yeah, but remember then Pat Bev had it on his podcast where what did he say? He wanted like 8 to 10 million, something like that.
He did want a crazy amount, but he
ended up signing for the veteran minimum.
He didn't get it.
Just brought back Pat Bev.
I don't
That's
know, bro.
Crazy, man.
I don't know, bro. Yeah, let's move on. Let's get up out of that.
So Torey Craig as well. I figured we might as well rank both of them because they both had very incomplete seasons. Now, Torey Craig had way better highs than Jevone Carter would ever have hoped to have. But it all came crashing down. Torey Craig seemed like he was starting to figure out his place on this team before he went down with injury.
Yeah.
And then he went down with that injury. Me and you both thought, hey, there's a chance he may not come back this season. He actually comes back 2 weeks early from it, finishes out the season with the Bulls, but never quite got back in rhythm for the Bulls. Now, to his credit, he did shoot his career average for the Chicago Bulls this season from 3. He averages 35% shooting from the field on 2.6 attempts. He took 2.9 and it had a 39% clip. So he did technically from 3 what we asked him for. I think when it comes down to Torey Craig, it's just that he never fully seemed like he got all the way in rhythm, and injury played a big part in that as well.
Yeah, I think Torey Craig just dealt with a ton of injury. He's a player I don't mind having on this team. Scoring totals wise, I never expected him to have massive scoring totals. I thought he was brought in here to be your backup for. The problem was Patrick Williams kind of underwhelmed for a couple of months there, and then ended up getting some injury. And so because of the injury, you'd end up throwing Torey Craig in as your starting 4, which maybe fits his game a little bit better, but he was a bench piece, right? I wasn't expecting high point totals from him. Torey Craig to me did what he was asked to do. Did he do it at a phenomenal level? No. But I think that he did it at a Torey Craig level. And so for that, I'll give him a C+. You know what I mean? I don't think that I was underwhelmed by Torey Craig. I think I just was, I was whelmed. He was who he was. And I like the intensity defensively that we got when he was healthy. I like the ability to be able to switch 1 through 5 when he was healthy. And Torey Craig is not a bad signing to me. He's just
the ball.
A signing for what he is.
And rebounded the ball decently, 4.1 rebounds on the season, but as a starter, almost 6 rebounds.
Yeah.
Like that solidly for what his role is. Like, again, temper the expectations. Like, well, let's be clear. He's making a little over $2 million. So it's not like we're expecting him to come in and get 10 and 10, but for his role, for being a veteran and for understanding his place, he did it pretty well. And then, like I said, he never recovered from that major injury ever, really. And so, unfortunately, he does have a player option. So he may opt out, and he could potentially get more than that on the open market. We'll see what happens with the Bulls if they look to bring him back or not. Torey Craig's probably.
I don't know, dog. He may opt out to go get the same on a different team, but I don't know if Torey Craig's getting the bag out here.
Yeah, bro, one thing that we do a little bit better on. I'm better at predicting contracts than you have been, and you've been better at predicting output than I have been. I think he's gonna get more. I'm not saying a whole hell of a lot more.
Think Torey getting the bag out here?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying the bag, but he's gonna get more. Think about it this way. His veteran minimum is going to be higher than what he got paid last year because, again, the veteran minimum goes up. He's going to get more money than what he would have got for the Bulls coming. That's what I just mean. He's going to get more. I'm not saying he's going to get an exorbitant amount more, but he's going to get more money probably.
I would agree with that then. I think that he can get more. I think he just wants more of a situation. Like, let's be real. Like, he can go back to Phoenix and get more, and Lord knows they need him.
And that may very well be the case because Lord no, I mean, bro, do you know that before anything, that's not re-signing any of their free agents, anything, they're $17 million over the second tax apron. Yep. The second tax apron.
Yep. And might get knocked out in round one.
Yeah, bro. That's crazy. That's wild. Before we get out of the segment, I know it's time to end it, but when you look at, if you had to predict it, are both these guys back on the roster next year or one back? What do you think?
Jevone Carter's not going anywhere, unfortunately. I do think that. And then Torey Craig, I would say, is I think that he's probably off of this roster next year. I would say if anybody, because of the opt-out and all of that he's probably gone. But I don't know. Again, he's going to some team for the vet minimum. But like you said, it's more than what he's making now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next up, we're going to be talking about Coby White's season grade. We had to get somebody good in there from talking about two role players, and Jevone Carter. Got to cleanse the palate a little bit on that. But before we get into that, got to talk to you guys about one of our sponsors, and that is eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. It's also what keeps a healthy relationship because women need that as well. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle. Passion, drive, and patience. Yeah. Maintain your vehicle level up.
That's not bad.
That's pretty good. Performance. It's a good one. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you always find exactly what you're looking for. With the eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need, at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right, Pat. So we just had two role players who just completed their season grades. Let's get into one of the best stories to come out of the Chicago Bulls this season. That was Coby White's growth and his development. Great to see him upped his statistics in basically every meaningful category, upped his role, turned into a leader. Everything led the NBA in minutes played for so long until he had to sit down for 3 games to get passed up in minutes played, which is crazy. What grade are you giving Coby White for his season?
You know what? I'm giving Coby White an A, but it's not all because of play on the court. Coby White started off the season very well. I know that 4-15 start things got real ugly in there, but outside of that, I thought, or 5-14 start, whatever. But I thought that Coby White kind of tailed off a little bit post All-Star break. Not that he had fallen off a cliff, but I thought that, you know, it kind of let DeMar kind of take back over as far as being the offensive leader, offensive focal point. And that's not what I had wanted to see from him. But what I will say is I'll give him an A because the leadership that we saw develop in Coby White throughout the season, to me, is invaluable to the Chicago Bulls team moving forward because we didn't have one. We've had 3 years of this team, and Coby White is the first vocal leader that actually was on this team to start the season.
Oh, I was about to say, how dare you disrespect Tristan Thompson? Bro, that is forever gonna that perfectly just encapsulates the whole Tristan Thompson run with the Chicago Bulls. Him just going off on the bench, and I was just looking at him like, would you please just shut up?
Bro, and you know what irritates me? Listen, I need to speak to the listeners here. I need every single one of y'all, when y'all get up in here, to hit the like button, share these videos to everybody that you can share them to, because it irritates me that, and it's not a shot at Matt and Big Dave, but that the most popular episode on this channel is still the Chicago Bulls got their goon.
I thought we passed it up.
I don't think we've passed that up, and it's a Tristan Thompson video.
That's crazy.
We need your help to get us out of that, because that is the most annoying thing in the world to me, that our top video is the Chicago Bulls went and got their goon. Like, my God, come on now. But I'll say this.
I do love that the third best though is that picture, that first one we used that Scotty.
Oh yeah, bro. I thought that one. I was like, that's our best hope. That's the best hope we've had. The second one is Kai Soto. Kai Soto almost made it, but y'all didn't call us enough racial slurs in the comments. So got to get that up. Let's get those videos cracking again. Kai Soto will still continue to be trash, by the way. He's barely getting minutes off the bench in Australia. I think we were right a little bit.
Yeah.
But speaking on Coby White, right? Like, realistically speaking, I think that you can't overlook how he's grown as a leader, as a player. Even though he doesn't win the most improved player, I think that he's one of the most improved players in the NBA. And I think realistically speaking, now you have a piece going in the next season that maybe gives you a little more hope than you would have had at the start of this season, because we were coming into the start of this season with our hope being Jevone Carter, Torey Craig, and hopefully the big three finally figure it out in year 3, which we knew basically wasn't going to happen.
You know, the problem with that is that it's like everybody but the people running the organization realized that wasn't going to happen. Well, apparently, except for Michael Reinsdorf, who reportedly has never been a big.
Michael Reinsdorf has never been in on these.
That's crazy to think of. That's really crazy to think that Michael's just sitting there like.
But I think you know what's funny about this, and this is right where it kind of works in Kobe's favor. The Chicago Bulls turned into an organization that didn't have respect. You got to build respect, and sometimes to build respect, you got to take L's in some departments. Building respect as far as the players department is, guess what? This dude came in here. Do we think that he's the answer? We got some question marks on that, but Zach LaVine has been a major part of this organization for, I think at that point it was 5 years. He's basically been trying to do this all by himself. We've given him no help. We've actually hurt him by bringing in guys like Jim Boylan. We're going to reward this guy. And that is a way to gain respect, to gain a belief in a team from players around the league. Now, you have to go get those players. And that's where the problem comes in, because we basically were like, I don't really know how you make us better. And then every player that we let go is in the playoffs right now. Like, you got to make the right decisions as well.
Yeah. I mean, and go back to our last decision. Patrick Beverly over Jevone Carter over
in the
Patrick
playoffs.
Beverly. That would have
been in the playoffs on either team that he was on this season. Because he was on Philly.
That's crazy. It's weird, man. Hey, it is what it is. But Coby White season, I mean, you can't give nothing but an A. Like, when you finish second in voting as the most improved player in the entire NBA, you've had a pretty damn good season. So Coby has things he definitely needs to work on. But I do trust that now that Coby understands, because keep in mind, like, Coby White had never had as big of a role as what he has. So now that he understands and he realizes, hey, whether it was running out of gas, whatever it was, I think he's going to train hard this season. He's going to get it together as far as that aspect of it. But then also the mentality part. Coby got to understand, hey, listen, you could respect DeMar DeRozan all day, but sometimes you're going to have to look at DeMar and be like, hey, bro, it's my time.
Yeah. No, and I think here's my thing too, right? And this is what it comes down to me with Coby White as the most important thing. I still have major questions on your consistency. Now, you're more consistent. I'll give you that. You're much more consistent than you were in your first 4 years in the NBA. But then we saw a play-in game, 2 play-in games, where one, you cooked the Atlanta Hawks. You're supposed to cook the Atlanta Hawks. They don't defend. You were guarded by Trae Young all night. And the next game, you had no answers. You were 2 for 8 from the three-point line. You were 5 for 16 from the field overall, and the team as a whole played poorly. But I can't give you the praise in one and not give you some of the blame in the other. I was looking for Coby White to step up. I was looking for Coby White to say, hey, listen, this is our time. I can't drive in here right now. Y'all need to find me some ways to get me open on the three-point line. I'm looking for Coby White to go look at Billy Donovan and say, we need to figure something else out.
Yeah.
I mean, the game plan that we have is not working. And I think that's that next step. Do I think Coby improved a ton? Yes, I do. I think that you've got a piece on your team. I don't think that you have the piece on your team. And so I'm not ready to go out there and overvalue what we have with Coby White just yet.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I get it. And I mean, that's consistent with how you viewed it. It's Coby is right now, he showed and laid a great foundation to show that he can be an impact player.
Mm-hmm.
But to take it further than that, he's gonna have to be more consistent. There's no way around it. You can't be an impact player and be as streaky as what Coby White has done. No slight to what how he grew last season. It was great, but now the expectation are coming around you, and you have to step up to those, because listen, as bleak as what you say it is, thank you, Coby White. You're our greatest hope right now. That's what it is, bro. Like, save us. Please.
All I'm asking, at a minimum, I don't care if you shoot a great percentage or not. I never want to see you shoot sub 16 shots in a game again. You're the number one. There's nobody else. You're the number one. And if you do shoot sub 16 shots, you better have 15 assists. It better be, I was just cooking. I couldn't shoot it. Why would I shoot it? You know what I mean? So I think that if he's able to get that right, we'll be in a much better situation. So
yeah,
we'll see, man. We'll see.
I agree with you.
But hey, before we get into this next topic, this final topic where we got to talk about what are we talking about in this final topic? I got to look at the who's got the brighter future? Speaking of futures here.
Thank you for coming up to the production meeting where you helped decide the topics, Pat. We appreciate you on that one.
It's my bad, dog. I might need some better help. And that's what I'm all in on, better help. See, that's how you do a segue, not what I said Haize to his phone. That's how you got to be in on BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an amazing product, and I'm so glad that they're here with Locked On Bulls to help us. Sometimes we all need the opportunity to get some things off of our chest, big or small. Certain things can really start to get to you. It's important to let those things out, especially to somebody who is unbiased in your life. So today, I want to tell you guys how I really feel about something, and that is BetterHelp. I mean, listen, if you're thinking about starting therapy, it's entirely online, designed to be flexible, suited to your schedule. Visit BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA, and you can get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA for 10% off your first month. They give you a questionnaire. You fill it out. They find therapists perfect for you. And if you feel like, they said perfect, and this doesn't feel perfect, no hard feelings. You just right back in. They swap you out with a brand new therapist. They find somebody who fits you perfectly. That's what this is all about. And so go BetterHelp.com, BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. Also got to tell you guys about DoorDash. I am a big DoorDash guy. And listen, with everything coming up, the holiday season, Mother's Day is coming up. It's never too late to show moms how much you love her by sending her flowers and not actually showing up in person. Surprise your mom with flowers, gadgets, and self-care essentials all in one place, delivered right to her door. Does she have a little bit of a sweet tooth? Maybe you can get some candy out there. You know, they're able to pick up anything with DoorDash. You said what?
Ooh, a piece of candy.
Oh, piece of candy. Oh, piece of candy. Get your Mother's Day gifts all in one place. To get 50% off your next DoorDash order, up to $15 when you spend 15 plus on your next flowers, convenience, grocery, or retail order now with the code LockedOnNBA. That's LockedOnNBA. Order using DoorDash today. Terms and conditions do apply.
All right, man. Gotta end this on this, brother. The Chicago Sky. I was just about to take it away. The Chicago Sky, who drafted Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso on top of making a nice amount of moves to get Brenna Maxwell as well. Who has the brighter future right now to you, Pat? The Chicago Sky or the Chicago Bulls?
Here's what's tough about this. Do I think who has the better future? I think the Sky have a better answer. Right, I think they have a more dominant answer that's coming up when you talk about Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese. I think that it's going to be very tough for teams to rebound on them. I think Angel Reese, a little bit of a mid-range, if she can add that three ball in consistently, and my God, it has to get quicker. She shoots, the speed of her shot is like freaking Adama Sanago. Like, no disrespect to Angel Reese, but it's really slow, bro. It's like, hey, I'm going to take this shot when I get this shot. That's not going to work in the WNBA. And so you got to speed the shot up, got to get more comfortable with that. But that has time to come. The thing that I think makes it tougher is the East right now is more attainable to move up. If the Bulls make a couple of moves in the right direction, when you look at the Sky and how they're trying to compete this year, like there's some teams, and it's not, I think here's the thing. It's not just that the Sky got better. The WNBA this season got better. And so I guess if we're talking brighter future, I think the Sky have a much more, like the word competitive will mean something to them. Mm-hmm. But as far as being able to move up the ranks quickly, I actually think the Bulls will be able to do that because I just don't think as highly of the Eastern Conference in the NBA.
Yeah. I think here's the thing. it's easier to have a brighter future. Admittedly, as much as I'm a huge Sky fan, and by the way, I have the #1 Chicago Sky YouTube page in the world, at Chicago Sky Central. There you go on that one. But the reason, it's 12 teams. Let's be clear here. It's 12 teams.
Yeah.
And while it still is hard to compete, and nobody's saying that the Sky are in any way like all of a sudden this WNBA finals contender, but if you just talk about who has a brighter future, it's the Chicago Sky, because they drafted 2 pillars of this team that, definitely still has things to work on. Absolutely, as every rookie does. But guess what? At least they got the foundation.
Yeah. And
at least it seems like as well that guess what? We had no draft picks coming into the draft. We walk out with the #3 and the #7 overall. If AK did anything like that, we'd be ready to sing his praises.
I agree with you on that, but I just think, right, like it's not that there won't be a brighter future, but I think the 12 teams almost works against you. It makes it so much harder for you to get into those positions where it's like, hey, look, we're competing deep into the playoffs every year, versus the NBA where it's a bad Eastern Conference, guys. Like Miami with no Jimmy Butler is stressing out Boston right now. You know what I mean? And Boston was the best team in the NBA, it deservedly so. But like with the additions the Sky made this year, would you say that they're above Minnesota right now? Above the Wings?
Yeah, they're above the Wings. The Sky. Think about it, the Sky made the playoffs last year with a bunch of injuries. Like
so did those teams. These are all playoff teams. I'm saying.
No, that's what I'm saying. They'll make the playoffs. It's just I don't know. Like it's too new coach, new system, new
There's a
team.
lot.
It's a lot to say that. But again, we're talking about the future. The future doesn't necessarily have to mean this season. If I'm going to bet on which one is actually going to get to that success and sustain that success longer, the Sky are on a much better path to be able to do that.
I don't know, man. I'm excited about the Sky. I just think that we also have to realize the WNBA's the change to the WNBA landscape becoming a lot more 3-point shooting, especially when you add Caitlin Clark into this as well, right? Are the Fever going to move up? The Fever won a playoff team last year, right? The Sky getting what they got as a 8th seed last year is amazing, and I love it. But there's still some questions that we have with the Sky. There's some people that are going to be put in positions they weren't in last year because you had Kalea Copper on the team and you had her leading the way. Now, they did get a little bit of time in those positions when you're talking about like a Dana Evans, right? She got a little more time on the court because Kai ended up dealing with some injury. But I feel like the WNBA is just so incredibly competitive because of how small it is right now. It's going to be tough for you. Like, not to say you can't move up from 8 to say 6 or 5, but I don't know if you're above the Wings right now. I don't know if you're above the Connecticut right now. I don't know. I know you're not above New York right now. Well, and you're definitely not above Vegas right now.
You're literally listening to the best teams in the league, right? So you're more so looking at Minnesota. They can compete with Minnesota mainly because of what they project to be defensively. Minnesota is not the best defensive team. Right. The Atlanta Dream are always in a state of flux. They can go anywhere from being in the playoffs one year to the worst team in the WNBA.
I think there's a personal beef with all Atlanta teams with like leagues for some reason. They like, it's too black down there. We can't let them win. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like the Hawks, the Falcons, like, no, what's going on down there?
Now, the Fever, I will say this. The Fever could be absolutely godright nasty last year. Back-to-back #1 overall picks. Aaliyah Boston, a physical beast, and then you got Caitlin Clark coming down there as well. Like they're gonna be much better and much improved if everything works out. Oh, but best believe people are gonna see. And that's what I love about people who are new to the WNBA, because I can't wait till they watch and realize how physical every single game is in the WNBA. If you guys think that it's because it's women, I tell you what, the WNBA game is more consistently physical than what the NBA game is.
Bro, I remember when we got Yiji Leon and everybody was like, well, she's huge.
You say her name every time, different every time you've ever said it.
No, it's always Yiji Leon.
That's, bro.
Is that not how you say it?
That you're saying it right now. Last season, you used to murder her name, bro.
Oh no, I did it on purpose because she was so trash. No, every time. Yeah. No, I called her everything. I was like, you Julie Lou, whatever. I would say whatever, but she was trash. But I remember like everybody was like, well, she's big, so she's gonna like dominate. And I was like, she ain't got no footwork. Like she's gonna get pushed around because she's not gonna know where to be down low. Guess what? We couldn't play her. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what was that, 2 years ago? That was last season, right? Was she there last season? 2 years ago?
2
2 years ago.
No, yeah, it's 2 years. Dang,
2 years
has it
ago.
been that long?
Yeah, it's that long ago.
Bro, I remember. Because that me and you both. That's a big woman.
That's
but
a
then
big, yeah, that was
she
a
was
big
getting
woman.
handled by women 2 and 3 inches smaller than her because they play physical in the WNBA.
They willing to body her up, bro. They was just, and I was like, I don't know if she's willing to get bodied up. And so, like, no, they're like, that's why I love the addition of Cardozo. That's why I love the addition of Angel Reese. I love the addition of Angel Reese because legitimately to me, Camila Cardozo is bigger. Angel Reese is more physical.
That's a fair statement. I think that's a fair statement.
Angel Reese is willing to go toe to toe with Cardozo on everything, and it look you like looking at him, you'd be like, she shouldn't be able to compete down there, and she's like moving people out the way. So I think physically, the Sky are going to be fine. I think that the biggest question that I have is just it's not about the Sky, and it's not about them playing well and being competitive. I think they could be a 25+ win team, but I also think that there's a lot of teams in this WNBA now that are going to be a lot more competitive versus, to me, last year, right? The Wings getting in was like, yeah, they're a good team, but like, they're not going anywhere. Like, that's how it felt to me.
Wings had wins over most of the top teams. Like, they played really good last year against the super teams that formed. Really good. That's what got them there.
But I don't know. To me, I just knew like, they can't compete when it comes to Vegas. They're not going to be able to defend well enough when it comes to like. And that's what I'm saying.
We've been on the other side of that as far as Bulls, right? Like you can muster up to beat a team on any given night, but when it comes to a series, it's a lot different.
Yeah. So we'll see what it ends up being, man. But I'll tell you this. I just think it's going to be easier for the Bulls to move up. Bulls go get like. AK sounds he got to do it, but he sounds like he's just sick of watching the same. He's finally reached all of our point. That may make him make a first year AK here off season move. Now, he can't make 3, but he may make 1, and 1 in the NBA can take you a long way.
We'll see what that 1 is. We'll see.
Donovan Mitchell, son of a. If Trae Young comes here, do we got to stop frying him?
No, because I'm going to fry him even worse. That's not going to happen.
Listen here, you baby-haired bastard.
That sounds about right. Send us home, pal. Let's get up
man. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer, and Trae Young. Just shave it off, bro.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. We are free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube. For Pat the Designer, this has been Locked On Bulls. We out of here. Peace, y'all.
Peace.